20. Black artists from the 1980s who are still alive and thriving. The 1980s were more than neon lights and big hair. They were the birth of an unstoppable wave of black artistry that changed music forever. These legends didn't just top the charts. They broke barriers, redefined entire genres, and created songs that still shake the world today. And the most shocking part, they're not just memories of the past. They're still alive, still thriving, and still rewriting history. From funk to soul to hip-hop, their influence is everywhere. Ready to see who made the cut? Stay tuned, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Legends of Black Excellence. Chaka Khan. Born Yvette Marie Stevens on March 23, 1953. Chaka Khan emerged as one of the most dynamic and transformative voices in music. Her career began in the early 1970s as the lead singer of the funk band Rufus, where she helped craft a sound that fused raw rhythm with emotional depth. Songs like Tell Me Something Good, penned by Stevie Wonder, propelled the group to stardom. And soon after, Chaka's unmistakable powerhouse vocals defined classics like Sweet Thing and Ain't Nobody. These songs not only topped R&B charts, but became generational anthems that influenced countless artists. Her solo career launched in 1978 with the debut single, I'm Every Woman I Feel For You, featuring a rap verse from Mel Mel, was revolutionary. It marked one of the very first times rap and R&B successfully fused in mainstream music, opening the door for future collaborations across genres. Throughout her journey, she has collected 10 Grammy Awards, collaborated with legends from Prince to Steve Winwood, and sold millions of records worldwide. By the early 2000s, Chaka's music had transcended generations with her vocal range and improvisational style, still leaving younger singers in awe. In 2023, her legacy was formally recognized with an induction into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, a milestone that underscored her decades of innovation. Today, even at 70, she continues to tour internationally, performing with the same energy and passion that first lit up stages over 5 decades ago. Her performances are not mere concerts, but cultural celebrations that unite old fans and new listeners alike. Chaka Khan is more than just a survivor of the industry. She is a testament to endurance, creativity, and transformation. From her days with Rufus to her solo triumphs, her voice remains one of the most recognizable in music history. She is not only the queen of funk, but a living legend whose artistry continues to inspire younger generations to push the boundaries of sound. Janet Jackson. Born on May 16, 1966. Janet Demita Jo Jackson is not just a younger sibling of Michael Jackson, but a groundbreaking artist in her own right. She first appeared on television as a child actress in the late 1970s, with roles in Good Times and Different Strokes, and Control in 1986. With bold lyrics and slick production from Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, the album established Janet as an independent force, selling over 10 million copies worldwide and generating 5 top 5 Billboard singles, including Nasty and What Have You Done For Me Lately. Her 1989 masterpiece, Rhythm Nation 1814, took things further. It became the only album in history to produce 7 top 5 Billboard Hot 100 singles, including Miss You Much and Escapade. More than just music, the project addressed themes of racial unity, education, and social justice, earning her a reputation as an artist who blended entertainment with activism. By the early 1990s, Janet was one of the highest-paid recording artists ever, signing record-breaking multi-million-dollar contracts with Virgin Records. Her influence extended well into the 1990s with albums like Janet. 1993, featuring the Grammy-winning That's the Way Love Goes, and The Velvet Rope. 1997, a deeply personal project that tackled issues like depression, sexuality, and domestic violence. By the 2000s, despite challenges following the infamous 2004 Super Bowl halftime controversy, she continued to reinvent herself with albums such as Discipline 2008 and won 5 Grammy Awards and an induction into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2019. Janet remains one of the most influential female entertainers of all time. Even in her late 50s, Janet continues to tour, selling out arenas across the globe. Her legacy is not just in chart numbers or awards, but in the countless younger artists like Beyoncé, Rihanna, and Ciara who credit her as a role model. Janet Jackson embodies resilience, innovation, and cultural leadership, proving that her voice and vision remain as powerful today as when she first took control of her destiny. Bobby Brown. Born on February 5, 1969, in Boston, Massachusetts, Bobby Brown became one of the most recognizable figures of late 1980s R&B. He first found fame as a founding member of New Edition, a teenage group that delivered hits like When and Cool It Now. However, his rebellious personality and creative differences led him to leave the group in 1985, paving the way for a solo career that would cement his place in music history. In 1988, Brown released Don't Be Cruel 7 million copies in the United States alone and produced 5 Billboard Hot 100 Top 10 singles, including Every Little Step, Roni, and his signature anthem, My Prerogative. That last track, with its defiant lyrics and aggressive edge, became a cultural statement and remains one of the most iconic songs of the era. By the early 1990s, Bobby Brown was no longer just an R&B singer, he was a pop superstar with crossover appeal. His follow-up album, Bobby 1992, went triple platinum, featuring hits like Humpin' Around and Good Enough. Beyond music, Brown expanded into acting, appearing in films such as A Thin Line Between Love and Hate and Two Can Play That Game. His charisma and stage presence made him a versatile entertainer, though his personal life often attracted just as much attention as his art. His high-profile marriage to Whitney Houston and their reality show, Being Bobby Brown, gave the public a raw glimpse into their tumultuous relationship. Do you think Bobby Brown's edgy image helped R&B cross into mainstream pop culture, or did it overshadow his talent as an artist? Despite personal tragedies, including the deaths of Whitney Houston and their daughter Bobby Christina, Bobby has remained resilient. He continues to perform, often reuniting with New Edition for tours that draw thousands of nostalgic fans. His influence is undeniable. Artists from Usher to Chris Brown have credited him as a pioneer who blurred the lines between R&B and hip-hop. Today, Bobby Brown stands as both a cautionary tale and a celebrated innovator. A man who transformed music in the late 80s and still carries the legacy of New Jack Swing wherever he goes. Flavor Flav. Born William Jonathan Drayton Jr. on March 16, 1959. Flavor Flav is one of hip-hop's most colorful and recognizable figures. He co-founded Public Enemy, and Fight the Power, featured in Spike Lee's film Do the Right Thing, became a rallying cry for an entire generation. Public Enemy's bold, confrontational sound earned them 6 Grammy nominations and a Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction in 2013, with Flavor Flav serving as both comic relief and cultural symbol. His presence was more than just hype. He helped make Public Enemy's message accessible and unforgettable. But when hip-hop began shifting in the 1990s, Flav found a new stage: reality television. His appearances on shows like The Surreal Life and Strange Love showcased his eccentric personality to mainstream audiences. Yet, it was VH1's Flavor of Love 2006 to 2008 that made him a household name, drawing millions of viewers and turning him into a reality TV pioneer. Do you think Flavor Flav's transition from politically charged hip-hop to reality television helped preserve his legacy, or did it dilute the seriousness of his early work with Public Enemy? Despite personal struggles with addiction and legal issues, Flavor Flav has continued to reinvent himself. In recent years, he's embraced family life, even welcoming a child in 2019, and has made public appearances celebrating hip-hop's 50th anniversary. While some may remember him for his outrageous antics, his role in elevating hip-hop from underground culture to a worldwide movement is undeniable. Flavor Flav remains more than just a hype man. He's an enduring symbol of hip-hop's rebellious spirit, proving that charisma and authenticity can carry an artist across decades. Bill T. Jones. Born on February 15, 1952, Bill T. Jones has become one of the most daring and respected choreographers of the last half-century. Raised in Florida and later New York, Jones grew up with a passion for expression that went beyond movement. He wanted dance to speak, to challenge, and to heal. In 1982, he co-founded the Bill T. Jones Arnie Zane Dance Company with his life partner Arnie Zane. Their collaboration produced groundbreaking works that tackled themes of race, sexuality, power, and mortality, making their troupe a force in the world of contemporary dance. Jones's productions, such as Last Supper at Uncle Tom's Cabin, The Promised Land, and Still Here, blended bold choreography with multimedia and narrative elements. Still Here in particular, created after Zane's death from AIDS-related illness, incorporated the voices and stories of people living with terminal diseases. It was both deeply personal and universally human, sparking debate in the dance community while moving audiences worldwide. His ability to weave art with activism marked him as a unique cultural leader. Beyond his company, Jones has left an indelible mark on Broadway. He choreographed the acclaimed musical Spring Awakening and directed Fela, a vibrant celebration of Nigerian Afrobeat legend Fela Kuti, which earned him a Tony Award. His versatility shows that his vision is not limited to one stage or one audience. Instead, it stretches across classical, ballet, modern dance, and theatrical productions. In 2017, his opera-inspired project We Shall Not Be Moved was named one of the year's best classical performances by the New York Times. Jones also serves as the artistic director of New York Live Arts, mentoring the next generation of dancers and creators. Even in his 70s, his works continue to challenge traditional boundaries, reminding us that art can be both a mirror of society and a catalyst for change. Bill T. Jones stands not just as a choreographer, but as a visionary who turned personal loss into global resonance, proving that movement can tell stories words often cannot. Al Green, born on April 13, 1946 in Forest City, Arkansas, Albert Leorns Green, known to the world as Al Green, rose from modest beginnings to become one of the greatest soul singers of all time. His breakthrough came in the early 1970s when he signed with High Records and began working with producer Willie Mitchell. The collaboration birthed a series of timeless hits: Tired of Being Alone, 1971, Let's Stay Together, 1972, and Love and Happiness, 1972. These songs didn't just dominate the R&B charts, they crossed into mainstream pop, helping him sell millions of records and cementing his reputation as the smoothest voice of his generation. By the mid-1970s, tragedy struck when a violent incident at his Memphis home led Green to reevaluate his life. He became an ordained pastor, dedicating much of his career to gospel music and founding the Full Gospel Tabernacle Church, where he still preaches. His gospel albums earned him critical acclaim, including multiple Grammy Awards in the gospel category, showing his artistry could thrive in both secular and sacred music. Yet fans of his early hits were thrilled when he later returned to soul and R&B, blending his faith with his signature romantic style. Over the decades, Green collected an astonishing 11 Grammy Awards, including the Lifetime Achievement Award, and was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1995. Rolling Stone magazine ranked him among the 100 greatest artists of all time, recognizing the way his heartfelt vocals defined an era. His influence can be heard in generations of performers from Prince to John Legend who cite him as a direct inspiration. Even in later years, Al Green has not fully stepped away from music. He released Lay It Down in 2008, a critically acclaimed album produced with Questlove of the Roots, proving that his voice remains as rich and resonant as ever. Whether singing in the pulpit or on a concert stage, Al Green continues to embody soul at its purest form. His music carries an enduring warmth that reminds audiences why love, faith, and song remain eternal. LL Cool J, James Todd Smith. Better known as LL Cool J, was born on January 14, 1968 in Bay Shore, New York. By the age of 16, he was already signed to Def Jam Recordings, becoming one of the label's first breakout stars. His debut album, Radio 1985, was both raw and innovative, powered by Rick Rubin's minimalist beats and LL's commanding flow. The record sold over 1.5 million copies and announced that hip-hop was here to stay. Tracks like I Can't Live Without My Radio and Rock the Bells became cornerstones of the genre, while his softer side emerged with I Need Love, 1987, one of rap's first successful love ballads. Through the late 1980s and 1990s, LL built an unmatched catalog. Albums like Bigger and Deffer, 1987, and Mama Said Knock You Out, 1990, showcased his versatility balancing hardcore bravado with commercial appeal. The title track of Mama Said Knock You Out earned him a Grammy Award and became one of the most iconic battle cries in hip-hop. Over the years, LL Cool J has sold more than 15 million albums in the U.S., winning 2 Grammys and earning a Kennedy Center honor in 2017. Beyond music, LL carved a second career in Hollywood. He appeared in films like Any Given Sunday, 1999, and Deep Blue Sea, 1999, proving he could transition from stage to screen. But his most enduring role came in television playing Sam Hanna in NCIS Los Angeles, a part he held for over 300 episodes across 14 seasons. His performance made him a household name far beyond the world of hip-hop. In 2021, LL Cool J was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, recognized not just for his early contributions to rap, but for his role in expanding the genre's reach. He also continues to nurture the culture as host of the SiriusXM station Rock the Bells Radio, dedicated to preserving classic hip-hop. Decades after his debut, LL Cool J remains a cultural icon, an artist who proved that hip-hop could be both timeless and limitless. Anita Baker. Anita Denise Baker, born on January 26, 1958 in Toledo, Ohio, is one of the most celebrated voices in contemporary soul and R&B. Raised in Detroit, she began singing in nightclubs as a teenager before joining the funk group Chapter 8 in the late 1970s. When the band lost its record deal, Baker's career seemed uncertain. But in 1983, she launched her solo career with the songstress, a modest success that hinted at her potential. Everything changed 3 years later with Rapture 1986, a landmark album that sold over 5 million copies worldwide and introduced the world to her signature ballad, Sweet Love. That song won her first Grammy and established her as the leading voice of the Quiet Storm era. Her artistry was rooted in intimacy, lush arrangements, heartfelt lyrics, and a voice capable of soaring power yet tender vulnerability. Through the late 1980s and early 1990s, she released a string of platinum-selling albums including Giving You the Best That I Got, 1988, and Compositions, 1990. By the mid-1990s, Anita Baker had already earned multiple Grammy Awards and recognition as one of the most influential female R&B singers of her generation. Do you think Anita Baker's soft, soulful style carries more emotional weight than the flashy, upbeat tracks that often dominate R&B charts? Despite stepping away from music in the early 2000s to focus on family, Baker's legacy only grew stronger. She made a celebrated return in 2004 with My Everything, which debuted in the Billboard Top 5, proving her voice remained as captivating as ever. In 2018, she announced a farewell tour, but fan demand was so overwhelming that she extended performances across the U.S., selling out arenas filled with admirers who had waited decades to hear her live. Her influence stretches across generations. Singers like Alicia Keys, Toni Braxton, and Tamia have cited Baker as a role model, drawing inspiration from her mastery of phrasing and emotional depth. Over her career, Anita Baker has won 8 Grammy Awards, 4 American Music Awards, and a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. She stands as a symbol of timeless elegance in music, proof that subtlety and sincerity can be just as powerful as volume and spectacle. George Clinton. George Edward Clinton, born on July 22, 1941 in Kannapolis, North Carolina, is widely regarded as the godfather of funk. Starting his career as a doo-wop singer in the 1950s, he reinvented himself in the 1970s with the formation of Parliament Funkadelic, a collective that blurred the lines between music theater and surreal art. Their elaborate shows, filled with outlandish costumes and sci-fi themes, introduced a new dimension to black music. Hits like Give Up the Funk, Tear the Roof, Off the Sucker Flashlight, and One Nation Under a Groove not only dominated R&B charts, but became cultural anthems that reshaped the soundscape of the 1970s and carried into the 1980s. In 1982, Clinton launched his solo career with the album Computer Games, which featured the infectious single Atomic Dog. The song became a staple in hip-hop, sampled by countless artists, including Snoop Dogg, Ice Cube, and Tupac Shakur. Clinton's ability to fuse psychedelic rock, soul, and funk established him as one of the most influential musicians of his generation. By the 1990s, his legacy was cemented when Dr. Dre's G-Funk movement leaned heavily on Parliament funkadelic grooves, connecting Clinton's innovations to a whole new audience. Recognition of his artistry has been extensive. In 1997, George Clinton and Parliament Funkadelic were inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and in 2019, they received the Grammy Lifetime Achievement Award. Beyond music, Clinton has explored visual art staging exhibitions that reveal his eclectic imagination. In 2022, he even appeared on The Masked Singer, surprising audiences with his playful energy at over 80 years old. Even after officially announcing retirement from touring in 2019, Clinton continues to collaborate with younger artists and remains a revered elder statesman of funk. His influence is evident not only in hip-hop, but also in pop electronic and rock music. More than a performer, George Clinton is a visionary who redefined what it meant to be an artist, breaking boundaries, challenging conventions, and leaving behind a legacy that continues to inspire musicians across generations. Lionel Richie, Lionel Brockman, Richie Jr., born on June 20, 1949 in Tuskegee, Alabama, is one of the most successful singer-songwriters of all time. His career first took flight in the 1970s as a member of the Commodores, a Motown group that produced soulful ballads like Easy 3 Times a Lady and Still. Richie's songwriting skills quickly became the group's hallmark, but by the early 1980s, he began stepping into the spotlight as a solo artist. His debut solo album, Lionel Richie, 1982, went quadruple platinum, featuring hits such as Truly and You Are. But it was his second album, Can't Slow Down, 1983, that skyrocketed him to international fame. Selling over 20 million copies worldwide, the record won the Grammy Award for Album of the Year and produced iconic singles like All Night Long and Hello. In 1985, Richie collaborated with Michael Jackson to co-write We Are the World, a charity single that raised more than $63 million for famine relief in Africa, and became one of the best-selling singles in history. By the late 1980s, Lionel Richie was firmly established as a global superstar, selling out stadium tours and topping charts around the world. His smooth blend of pop R&B and soul appealed to a wide audience, and he became known for his heartfelt ballads, as well as his ability to create uplifting anthems. Over the course of his career, Richie has sold more than 100 million records, won 4 Grammy Awards, an Academy Award for Best Original Song, Say You Say Me from White Nights, and the prestigious Gershwin Prize for Popular Song. Even in his 70s, Richie continues to tour internationally, performing for sold-out crowds that span multiple generations. Since 2018, he has served as a judge on American Idol, where his warmth and experience inspire aspiring singers. Inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2022, Lionel Richie remains a symbol of longevity in the music industry. His melodies have crossed cultural and linguistic barriers, ensuring that his music is not just remembered, but actively celebrated worldwide. Kool Moe Dee. Mohandas Dewees, better known as Kool Moe Dee, was born on August 8, 1962 in New York City. He emerged in the early 1980s as a member of the Treacherous Three, one of the first rap groups to gain critical acclaim for their lyrical dexterity. Known for his fast, aggressive delivery, Kool Moe Dee quickly set himself apart as a wordsmith with a commanding presence. His performances combined sharp rhymes with intellectual depth, earning him respect in the underground hip-hop community at a time when the genre was still fighting for mainstream recognition. In 1981, he made history by engaging in one of the earliest high-profile rap battles against Busy B. Starsky, a contest that demonstrated hip-hop's competitive spirit and elevated lyricism as the genre's core. By the mid-1980s, Kool Moe Dee went solo, and in 1987 he released How You Like Me Now, a platinum-selling album that solidified his place in rap history. The title track became a cultural moment, both a boast and a challenge, cementing his role as one of the first MCs to directly influence the battle rap tradition. Throughout his career, Kool Moe Dee remained dedicated to pushing the boundaries of rap. Hits like Go See the Doctor and Wild Wild West showcased his ability to balance humor storytelling and social commentary. His rivalry with LL Cool J in the late 1980s and early 1990s became one of hip-hop's most famous feuds, symbolizing the competitive energy that drives the culture forward. Kool Moe Dee's influence has been long-lasting. In 2003, Complex ranked him among the 50 greatest MCs of all time, recognizing how his pioneering style paved the way for lyricists like Rakim Big Daddy Kane and even Tupac Shakur. Though his last studio album, Interlude, was released in 1994, he remains an enduring figure in the hip-hop community, often appearing in documentaries and retrospectives on rap's formative years. Kool Moe Dee stands as proof that intelligent speed and lyrical precision can transform hip-hop from party music into an art form that commands respect. Sade Adu. Helen Folasade Adu, known worldwide as Sade, was born on January 16, 1959 in Ibadan, Nigeria, and raised in England. In 1982, she joined a band that would later take her name, blending smooth jazz, soul pop, and R&B into something truly unique. Her debut album, Diamond Life 1984, became an international sensation, selling over 10 million copies worldwide and introducing timeless hits like Smooth Operator and Your Love is King. With her cool, understated stage presence and hauntingly beautiful voice, Sade redefined what it meant to be a global star, mysterious, elegant, and effortlessly stylish. Her success continued with Promise 1985, featuring the Grammy-winning single, The Sweetest Taboo. By the late 1980s, Sade had become one of Britain's most successful female artists, captivating audiences with music that transcended trends. Unlike many contemporaries, she released albums sparingly, each one carefully crafted. This approach made her catalog small but powerful, with every release becoming an event. After a hiatus in the late 1990s to raise her daughter Sade, returned in 2000 with Lovers Rock, which won a Grammy for Best Pop Vocal Album. A decade later, she stunned the world again with Soldier of Love 2010, debuting at #1 on the Billboard 200 and proving her timeless appeal. Even when absent from the spotlight, her influence never faded. Artists from Beyoncé to Drake have cited her as a major inspiration. Sade has also been honored for her contributions beyond music. In 2002, she received the Order of the British Empire (OBE), later elevated to Commander of the British Empire (CBE) in 2017 for services to music. In 2024, she contributed to the Red Hot organization's Transmissions project with the song Young Lion, her first release in over a decade dedicated to her son. What sets Sade apart is her ability to merge intimacy with universality. Her songs feel deeply personal, yet universally relatable. More than 4 decades since her debut, she remains a symbol of sophistication in music. Her voice still whispering truth, love, and resilience across generations. Patti LaBelle. Patricia Louise Holty, known to the world as Patti LaBelle, was born on May 24, 1944 in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Her career began in the early 1960s with the group Patti LaBelle and the Bluebells, who later transformed into the glam funk trio LaBelle. With their fearless style and powerful vocals, they scored a global hit in 1974 with Lady Marmalade, a song that has been covered and reimagined for decades but remains most iconic in Patti's original soaring delivery. By the late 1970s, she embarked on a solo career that would make her one of the most respected vocalists in history. Her solo breakthrough came in the 1980s with chart-topping hits like If Only You Knew, 1983, and New Attitude, 1984, which became a signature anthem of empowerment. In 1986, her duet with Michael McDonald on My Own spent 3 weeks at #1 on the Billboard Hot 100, cementing her crossover appeal. Patty's 1986 album, Winner in You, sold over 2 million copies in the US, proving that her career was only growing stronger with time. She went on to win 2 Grammy Awards, including Best Female R&B Vocal Performance for Burnin' in 1992. Beyond music, Patty's charisma and adaptability kept her in the public eye. She took on acting roles in TV shows like A Different World and American Horror Story, showcasing her versatility. But she also built a reputation as an entrepreneur. In 2015, her sweet potato pies, sold exclusively at Walmart, became a viral sensation, selling millions and adding another chapter to her storied career. Her cookbooks and food line have since become staples of her brand, proving that Patty's influence extends far beyond the stage. Even in her late 70s, Patti LaBelle continues to perform, selling out theaters and arenas with fans spanning multiple generations. She has been honored with a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame and countless Lifetime Achievement Awards. Yet her greatest legacy remains her voice, an instrument of passion, grit, and soul. Patti LaBelle is not just the godmother of soul. She is living proof that true artistry only deepens with time. Roy Ayers. Roy Ayers, born on September 10, 1940 in Los Angeles, California, is one of the most influential vibraphonists, composers, and band leaders in modern music. Coming from a musically gifted family, he was inspired early in life when Lionel Hampton, another legendary vibraphonist, gifted him his first pair of mallets. By the 1960s, Ayers was already making waves in the jazz world, playing with greats such as Herbie Mann before launching his own group Roy Ayers Ubiquity in the 1970s. This group became a defining voice in the emerging jazz funk and soul jazz scenes, creating a sound that was warm, rhythmic, and irresistibly danceable. Songs like Everybody Loves the Sunshine, 1976, Searchin' and No Stranger to Love became anthems that transcended genre boundaries, earning Ayers the title Godfather of Neo-Soul. His music was deeply rooted in jazz but embraced funk grooves and soulful melodies, making it accessible to a much broader audience. By the 1980s, his work was influencing the next generation of black musicians who were merging R&B with hip-hop. His 1981 album, Africa Center of the World, revealed his global perspective, incorporating African rhythms and themes of cultural pride. Ayers' impact is particularly felt in hip-hop. His tracks have been sampled by dozens of legendary rappers, including A Tribe Called Quest, Mary J. Blige, and Erykah Badu, embedding his grooves into the DNA of modern black music. Even as styles shifted in the 1990s and 2000s, his compositions remained a foundation for producers and DJs worldwide. His career accolades are vast. He has recorded over 30 albums and composed hundreds of songs, with many considered classics. In 2015, he appeared on Tyler, the Creator's album Cherry Bomb, showing that even in his 70s, he remained connected to younger audiences. Beyond the studio, Ayers has toured internationally for decades, performing in Japan, Europe, and across the US, keeping his music alive for new generations of fans. Roy Ayers is more than a vibraphonist. He is a bridge between eras and genres, a man whose sound connects the 1970s jazz-funk explosion to the neo-soul and hip-hop movements that followed. His legacy proves that true artistry isn't bound by time, but continually reborn in new forms. Gladys Knight. Gladys Maria Knight, born on May 28, 1944 in Atlanta, Georgia, is revered as the Empress of Soul. She began singing gospel at the age of 4, and by 8, had already won Ted Mack's Original Amateur Hour for shadowing her destiny as a star. In 1952, she formed the Pips with her brother, sister, and cousins. Renamed Gladys Knight and the Pips, the group would become one of the most beloved acts of the Motown era and beyond. Their breakthrough came with the 1967 version of I Heard It Through the Grapevine, which sold over 2.5 million copies and made them household names. But it was Midnight Train to Georgia 1973 that defined Knight's career. The song reached #1 on the Billboard Hot 100, earned a Grammy Award, and became a timeless anthem of love, sacrifice, and resilience. Through the 1970s and 1980s, the group racked up hits like Neither One of Us Wants to Be the First to Say Goodbye and Love Overboard, blending soul with pop in a way that appealed to multiple generations. Gladys's voice, rich, emotional, and unshakably powerful, became a hallmark of authenticity in a music world often driven by trends. After going solo in 1989, Knight continued to record and tour, winning more Grammys, including Best Gospel Album for Heaven Help Us All in 2005. In total, she has earned 7 Grammy Awards across multiple genres, proving her versatility. Beyond music, she appeared in films like Pipe Dreams 1976 and made guest appearances in popular television series, showing her multi-dimensional talent. Even into her late 70s, Knight has shown no signs of slowing down. She competed on The Masked Singer in 2019, finishing 3rd, and in 2024 she performed at the White House, reaffirming her place as a national treasure. With more than 60 years in the music industry, Gladys Knight has influenced everyone from Mariah Carey to Alicia Keys. Her career is a testament to endurance and evolution. An artist who began in gospel, soared through Motown, and adapted to every era without losing her essence. Gladys Knight remains one of the greatest vocalists in American music, a true embodiment of soul's heart and spirit. Diana Ross. Diana Ernestine Earl Ross, born on March 26, 1944 in Detroit, Michigan, is one of the most iconic figures in popular music. Rising to fame in the 1960s as the lead singer of the Supremes, Ross helped transform Motown Records into a cultural powerhouse. With hits like Where Did Our Love Go?, Baby Love, and Stop, In the Name of Love. The Supremes earned 12 #1 singles on the Billboard Hot 100, rivaling even the Beatles in popularity during their peak. Ross's charisma, elegance, and voice made her the face of Motown's crossover success. In 1970, she embarked on a solo career, immediately striking gold with her debut album featuring Ain't No Mountain High Enough, which became her first #1 solo single. The 1970s brought a string of hits such as Touch Me in the Morning, 1973, Love Hangover, 1976, and Upside Down, 1980. She also made waves in Hollywood, earning an Academy Award nomination for Best Actress for her portrayal of Billie Holiday in Lady Sings the Blues, 1972, making her the first African-American woman to receive such recognition. The 1980s cemented her global reach with the duet Endless Love, alongside Lionel Richie, which became one of the best-selling singles of all time. Over the course of her career, Ross has sold more than 100 million records worldwide, making her one of the best-selling female artists in history. Her accolades include a Grammy Lifetime Achievement Award, a Kennedy Center Honor, and the Presidential Medal of Freedom, awarded by Barack Obama in 2016. Even in her late 70s, Diana Ross continues to captivate audiences with live performances. In 2022, she released Thank You, her first studio album in 15 years, which reached the UK Top 10, showing her enduring ability to connect with listeners across generations. Her influence is felt not only in music, but also in fashion and culture, inspiring countless artists, including Beyoncé, Janet Jackson, and Mariah Carey. Diana Ross is more than a singer. She is a trailblazer who opened doors for Black women in entertainment and became a symbol of grace, resilience, and timeless artistry. Few artists embody the term legend as completely as she does. Tracy Chapman. Tracy Chapman, born on March 30, 1964 in Cleveland, Ohio, rose to prominence in the late 1980s with a sound that was as refreshing as it was revolutionary. At a time when music was often dominated by synthesizers and flashy production, Chapman emerged with nothing more than her acoustic guitar, a hauntingly soulful voice, and lyrics that spoke straight to the heart. Her self-titled debut album, released in 1988, sold over 6 million copies in the United States and featured Fast Car, a song that became an anthem of longing, escape, and resilience. Her performance at the Nelson Mandela 70th birthday tribute concert in London that same year catapulted her to international fame, introducing millions to her powerful blend of folk and social commentary. The album also included Talkin' About a Revolution and Baby Can I Hold You Both, of which showcased her ability to craft deeply emotional narratives. Chapman won 3 Grammy Awards in 1989, including Best New Artist, confirming that her artistry had struck a global chord. Unlike many pop stars of her era, she resisted the spotlight, preferring to let her music speak for itself. Her second album, Crossroads 1989, further explored themes of social justice, while New Beginning 1995 included Give Me One Reason, which won her another Grammy and became her biggest U.S. hit. Across her career, Chapman released 8 studio albums, each one tackling issues ranging from poverty and inequality to love and identity. Though she gradually withdrew from public life in the 2000s, her influence remained. In 2023, Chapman's legacy reached new heights when country artist Luke Combs released a cover of Fast Car. The song topped the country charts, making Tracy Chapman the first black songwriter to ever win the Country Music Association Award for Song of the Year. This historic moment proved the universality of her work. Her words and melodies resonated across genres, decades, and audiences. Tracy Chapman's artistry lies in her ability to say so much with so little. Stripped of excess, her songs carry a raw honesty that continues to inspire songwriters and listeners alike. She stands as one of the few artists who showed the world that simplicity, when fueled by truth, can be more powerful than any production. Stevie Wonder, Stevland Hardaway. Morris, known to the world as Stevie Wonder, was born on May 13, 1950 in Saginaw, Michigan. Blind since infancy, due to complications at birth, Wonder's life is a story of extraordinary triumph. Signed to Motown's Tamla label at just 11 years old, he became a child prodigy whose talent stunned the world. By the age of 13, he had already topped the Billboard Hot 100 with Fingertips Part 2, making him the youngest solo artist in history to achieve that feat. The 1970s marked Stevie Wonder's creative zenith, often described as his classic period. During this time, he released albums like Talking Book 1972, Inner Visions 1973, and Songs in the Key of Life 1976. These records, filled with groundbreaking hits such as Superstition, Living for the City, and Isn't She, lovely blended soul, funk, jazz, and pop with messages of hope, struggle, and love. His artistry was not just about melodies, but about giving voice to the civil rights and social justice movements of the time. The 1980s expanded his reach globally. Songs like I Just Called to Say I Love You 1984, which won him an Academy Award, became international anthems. He also played a pivotal role in making Martin Luther King Jr. Day a national holiday, using his influence to merge activism with artistry. Over his career, Wonder has sold more than 100 million records, collected 25 Grammy Awards, and earned a Presidential Medal of Freedom. Even beyond his prime decades, Wonder has remained active, performing at major global events, including the 2009 presidential inauguration of Barack Obama and countless benefit concerts. His collaborations span generations, from Paul McCartney in the 1980s to contemporary artists like Ariana Grande. In 2020, he released new music addressing themes of unity and resilience, proving that his creativity is still alive. Stevie Wonder's influence is immeasurable. From R&B and pop to gospel and hip-hop, nearly every modern genre carries echoes of his genius. More than just a musician, he is a cultural icon whose songs continue to provide comfort, inspiration, and joy. Stevie Wonder is living proof that music can transcend barriers and speak directly to the human soul. Lenny Kravitz. Leonard Albert Kravitz, born on May 26, 1964 in New York City, grew up surrounded by art and culture. The son of actress Roxy Roker and television producer Cy Kravitz, he was immersed in both show business and music from an early age. By the late 1980s, Kravitz had forged a unique sound that blended rock, funk, soul, reggae, and psychedelic influences. His debut album, Let Love Rule, 1989, introduced him as a genre-defying artist with the title track becoming an anthem of unity and rebellion. Throughout the 1990s, Kravitz became one of the most distinctive voices in rock. His sophomore effort, Mama Said, 1991, produced It Ain't Over Till It's Over, which reached the top 10 on the Billboard Hot 100. He followed with Are You Gonna Go My Way, 1993, a global smash whose guitar riff and energy solidified his reputation as a rock star. With his retro-inspired style and magnetic stage presence, Kravitz drew comparisons to Jimi Hendrix, but carved out his own identity as a modern visionary. From 1999 to 2002, Kravitz won 4 consecutive Grammy Awards for Best Male Rock Vocal Performance, a record in that category, thanks to hits like Fly Away and Again. Over the decades, he has sold more than 40 million albums worldwide, cementing his place among the most successful black rock musicians in history. Beyond music, Kravitz has acted in films such as Precious 2009 and the Hunger Games series, where he played the stylist Cinna, expanding his cultural footprint even further. In addition to music and acting, Kravitz founded Kravitz Design, Inc., a creative firm specializing in interiors and furniture, proving his artistry extends beyond sound into visual expression. Dividing his time between Paris, the Bahamas, and Brazil, he continues to tour internationally, delivering electrifying live performances that showcase both his musicianship and his boundless energy. Even after more than 3 decades, Lenny Kravitz remains a fearless creative force. His songs celebrate freedom, individuality, and love, resonating with audiences across generations. By refusing to be boxed into one style or sound, he embodies the spirit of rock and roll rebellion while staying true to his soulful roots. Grace Jones. Grace Beverly Jones, born on May 19, 1948 in Spanish Town, Jamaica, is one of the most daring and unconventional figures in modern culture. Moving to New York in her teens, she first made her mark as a high-fashion model, working with designers like Yves Saint Laurent and Kenzo in Paris during the 1970s. With her striking, androgynous looks, tall frame, and bold style, she challenged beauty standards and became a muse for the fashion world. But Grace Jones was never destined to remain just a model. She was a performer with vision. In 1977, she signed with Island Records and began her music career on New York's disco scene. Albums such as Portfolio and Fame made her a club icon, but it was in the 1980s that she truly exploded. Nightclubbing, 1981, and Slave to the Rhythm, 1985, fused reggae funk, new wave, and post-punk, while tracks like Pull Up to the Bumper and Slave to the Rhythm stormed the charts. Her collaboration with visual artist Jean-Paul Goude produced some of the most striking and provocative album covers in pop history, solidifying her as both a musical and visual innovator. Beyond music, Jones made her mark in Hollywood, starring in films like Conan the Destroyer, 1984, and the James Bond film A View to a Kill, 1985. Her commanding presence and fierce persona made her an unforgettable screen presence, blending seamlessly with her larger-than-life image. Despite her avant-garde reputation, she influenced mainstream stars. Artists like Lady Gaga, Rihanna, and Solange openly acknowledge her impact on their music and fashion. Over the years, Grace Jones has remained a cultural icon. She published her memoir, I'll Never Write My Memoirs, in 2015, offering a candid look into her extraordinary life. She continues to perform at festivals and exclusive shows, her energy and charisma undiminished even in her 70s. Grace Jones is more than a singer or actress. She is a living piece of art. By fearlessly blending music, fashion, and performance, she challenged conventions and opened doors for future generations to express themselves without limits. Her legacy is not just one of talent, but of revolution, proving that true icons are those who dare to be different. From Chaka Khan's funk-filled fire to Grace Jones's fearless artistry, these 20 icons remind us that the 1980s didn't just shape music, it created legacies that still thrive today. They broke barriers, redefined genres, and continue to inspire across generations. But here's the real question. Is there ongoing success proof that true artistry never fades, or have modern artists yet to match the fearless innovation of this era? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Who among these legends inspires you most? Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Legends of Black Excellence for more untold stories.